Hey, what's going on guys? Today we're talking about free assets versus making your own game assets. We're going to go through the pros and cons of each, and there's going to be some helpful links underneath in the description for anybody interested in the free assets and where to find them. So let's start off with the pros and cons of making your own assets. So what I love about making my own assets is that it's actually a really fun experience, and I use Assetprite for my pixel art, and I could spend all day making assets instead of coding. But that's kind of the point, is that one of the cons is it's slow, it's time consuming, it's maybe also not the best quality if you've never done something like that before. But the other pros are that it will be, because you made it, absolutely 100% unique, and it's going to be made how you want it to be made as well. There's not going to be any differences that you don't like and you're unable to change when you make your own assets. So that's a couple of positives for it. But if you are absolutely hellbent on making your own game assets, here's a few sites that you might want to look at. I use Assetprite. It's not free. There is a trial version if you want to test it out. It's for pixel art primarily, and you can animate in that, and I find it really easy to use and quite beginner friendly. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, there's also GIMP, Krita, and Blender, depending on what it is that you're looking for, what type of assets, 2D or 3D. Each of these is good for a different reason that I won't go into too much in this video, but have a little check out of those. I'll put those in the description for you if you've not heard of those. Which brings us nicely over to the free game assets, where you don't make your own, and the pros and cons of that. The main big pros that I can think of right out of the gate are that it saves time, it can be really amazing quality, much better than I can make at least, and there's a lot of variety to choose from. So even if it's not exactly made how you want and it's not perfectly unique, it still gets the job done and it looks pretty good. And I would also say that about 90% of people that play games have no idea that you've used a free asset. And I don't actually think there's many cons of free assets. They're maybe not as unique as you'd like them to be, or they're not exactly made how you want them to be made, but I think overall they are quite a good choice for somebody, especially a solo developer, who needs to prioritize time management. And if you're looking for some free assets and you don't know where to look, here are some really good resources for you. I started off with Bracky's Platformer Bundle. He also has a great YouTube video series on how to make your first platforming game. That's where I started. He also has dev assets, so you can browse and pick whatever sort of things that you want and interest you. Mainly 2D, but also 3D things are available as well here. You also have Kenny, and he has a vast number of things that you can choose from, all of which are free, including UI, characters, Tiny Town, things like that. And then you also have Pixabay, which has a vast number of different free things, 3D models, sound effects, music, videos, vectors, illustrations, everything that you could think of is here, and really useful. I would definitely check that out. And if none of that covers what you want, here is the ultimate free game dev asset list for all of the things, some of which I've already included, like Kenny. itch.io is a brilliant one as well. For example, I use this one the most actually, and I should have had that in the original list of resources instead of just stumbling upon it as I was talking about it. And I do also have a little shop on itch.io, TheGameGateway. They are not free, but you can get free demos like individual assets to try out and things like that. So if you wanted to check out my shop, feel free to. Right now there's only 2, but there will be more being added very shortly, so check that out if you fancy supporting the channel and supporting me a little bit as well. And that brings us to the end of the video, really. As you can tell, I really am an advocate for free assets, and that's because I've made the mistake of trying to make everything, and it has really slowed down my game development. And I wish somebody had made a video earlier saying, please use the free assets, please use them, you don't have to make absolutely everything. So I'm saying the same to you guys now, please use the free assets, you don't have to make everything as a solo developer. If this video helped, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.